The featured company is a paid client of Proactive Group Holdings, and this recording is disseminated by Proactive on its behalf.
We're doing over $1 million a day revenue right now just from our Bitcoin mining business. I'm also in Montreal right now for the All-In conferences, Canada's largest AI conference. Of course, Buzz HPC is our pure play AI subsidiary.
All right, welcome back inside our Proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Aydin Kilic. He is the CEO of HIVE Digital Technologies. And Aydin, good to see you again. How are you?
And great. It's been a phenomenal day in the markets and a phenomenal month as we kick off phase 3 in Paraguay, which is now live, and we're marching towards 25 exahash.
Yeah, of course, that's the news out today is that you've surpassed 20 exahash now. And remind everyone a bit about Paraguay and just how quickly you've been able to get this online and these phases to get up and running.
Yeah, so it's about the execution on our vision, quadruple our production this year. We went from 6 on our way to 25 exahash. And the big press release that came out today is we hit that big 2-0, 20 exahash, baby. We're ahead of schedule. Things are going great. I was just in Paraguay 2 weeks ago to do two things. One is we did a ribbon cutting ceremony to celebrate the completion of phase 1 and phase 2 in Iguazu. And that was the first 200 megawatts. Now phase 3 in Valenzuela is underway, and that hash rate is coming online. And that is what's so exciting, because when phase 1 and 2 were complete, that got us to our interim milestone of 18 exahash, which we did well before the summer end. And we're at 20 exahash. Here we are in September. So we're getting close to that 25 exahash target. It's very exciting. We're mining 9 Bitcoin a day right now, even at current network difficulty. So, we're doing over $1 million a day revenue right now just from our Bitcoin mining business. I'm also in Montreal right now for the All-In conferences, Canada's largest AI conference. Of course, Buzz HPC is our pure play AI subsidiary with tier 3 data centers. We announced our strategic partnership with Bell, Canada's largest telecom player. For those of you in the US, that's like, imagine doing a strategic partnership on data center infrastructure with AT&T or Verizon. It's like that, but in Canada. And as you know, we've got 5,000 GPUs between Montreal and Sweden, doing 20 million of annualized run rate revenue. And what's really interesting is we're about 90% Bitcoin mining revenue, 10% AI revenue. But some of our industry peers, no names, but year-end financials came out recently for one of our competitors, and they're multi-billion market cap. They're still 97% Bitcoin mining revenue, only 3% AI, but they pivoted themselves as an energy company. So when you actually look at what we're doing on a pound for pound basis, we're actually doing more AI compute than a lot of our peers. So I think there's just so much exciting stuff that's happening in the Hive ecosystem. We just announced the closing of our acquisition of the 7.2 megawatt data center in Toronto, which will be a tier 3 for Buzz HPC as well. And that's super exciting. And so now our partnership with Bell and the closing of the acquisition in Toronto, that each of those sites gives us a ramp for about 4,000 or collectively 4,000 NVIDIA Blackwell GPUs, the first 2,000 over the next year and the next 2,000 over the following year. So it's a very exciting time. And again, coming back on the Bitcoin business, we're scaling that to 25 exahash by American Thanksgiving, and that should get us at about 12 Bitcoin a day of production. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, you mentioned obviously NVIDIA and the work you do with that and getting those the machines up and running and all that, and those partnerships have been really successful. And also doing this all in the green way has been, it's really in the company's mantra.
Yeah, well, again, I'm glad you brought that up. We're 100% hydro energy in Paraguay. We actually toured and filmed a documentary at the largest hydro dam by production in the world. That's the Itaipu Dam. We actually have a Guinness World Record banner when you walk in. It's absolute marvel, and it was producing almost 10 gigawatts of power when we were there. Additionally, one of the 7 wonders of the world is actually the Iguazu Falls. So the largest waterfall system in the world is at the border of Paraguay, Brazil, and Argentina. And then the largest hydro dam by production in the world is Itaipu Dam, Paraguay. And that sells power to Brazil and Argentina as well. And just to put that in perspective, the Three Gorges Dam actually is slightly physically larger, but Itaipu has actually produced more power in certain years. And I think that's why it won the Guinness World Record. And that's what powers our Bitcoin production. is all that hydroelectricity in Paraguay. So we're coming up on 300 megawatts in the next few weeks. We're over 200 megawatts of hashing now. And of course, in Sweden, the utility company is called Vattenfall, which is Swedish for waterfall, right? Starting to notice a trend. And then Hydro Quebec is the utility company in Quebec. And then Grand Falls is the town in New Brunswick where our data center, our 70 megawatt data center is. And about 5 minutes from our site is the Hydro Dam. So you can sort of see the continuity there. So, Hive is very proud to be green and clean, and it's a road less taken. So, I think what was so amazing about Paraguay was the conditions that we were looking for: energy, green energy, and affordable green energy, and that's given us a real competitive edge. For the people that really track the financials and granular details, when our recent June 30th financials came out, our gross mining margins increased from the previous quarter 28% to 38% this quarter, right? So from March to June, 20 to 38% gross mining margin. That's in the MD&A. But hash price, for those of you that track the network metrics, was actually down quarter over quarter from 54 to 51. So even though the Bitcoin mining network was slightly less profitable in June, our profitability as a company surged from 28 to 38%, which is almost 40% growth. Why? Because we have our new generation S21 plus ASICs, right? The latest and greatest Bitcoin mining servers coming online in Paraguay, and of course at cheaper power in Paraguay. So it's a really exciting time for us. We're expecting our revenue. We will be pretty close to 500 million annualized revenue by this Thanksgiving at current mining economics. And we expect gross mining margins to be close to 60%. So again, that's the advent of these new generation, very efficient Bitcoin servers. And all this brand new hardware by all our analytics and forecasts, will continue to mine profitably through to the next halving and thereafter. So we're very excited to cash flow, deliver value for our shareholders, and most importantly, ROI, and make money on our investments.
Yeah. And it all begins with, again, 20 exahash per second, surpassing that. Congratulations on that. Aydin, good to see you again, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you, Steve. Always a pleasure.
All right. Aydin Kilic, the CEO of HIVE Digital Technologies.
The featured company is a paid client of Proactive Group Holdings, and this recording is disseminated by Proactive on its behalf. It is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice, an offer, or a solicitation to buy or sell any securities. Viewers should conduct their own research and consult a qualified financial advisor before making investment decisions. The views expressed are those of the speaker and do not necessarily reflect those of Proactive Group Holdings, trading as Proactive Investors, or its affiliates. No responsibility is accepted for any loss arising from reliance on the information presented.